Are there instances where you wouldn't accept a donation from an anonymous donor, where you say, this just isn't our value? I mean, this particular thing that you want to promote. Yes, it's charitable. Yes, it will go to an organization that is a 501c3, let's say. But we just, it's not our value to promote that, whatever it is. Maybe it's a political issue, it's a social issue, whatever it may be.
Sure.
Are there decisions have there been decisions in the past that you've made that you have turned down funding in that case?
Well, the answer is yes, we would turn it down if it was against our values. We have not been in that position. And because we are not in a political realm, we are not, we address humanitarian issues. So in many times those get politicized. For example, we established a fund that became very political in nature in America, and who was on what side of what related to some issues that were happening at the southern border in the United States. We really look at it from the perspective of a humanitarian crisis. Are there humans suffering? And do we have a role to help alleviate that suffering? And truthfully, it's not to be simple. That is as simple as it gets for me. Are there humans suffering, and can we help? If it falls within charitable law, and making a grant to the city of Chico falls within charitable law, then I think we have an obligation to do that. If it's against a core value, and I'm trying to think of one on the spot just for sake of discussion, but I can't think of one that would challenge our values, where we'd be put in a position where we would have to say, no, we can't do that.
Well,
if it was charitable.
There's extremist groups that are 501c3s. There are all sorts of people that I would consider to be people that I would hope nobody would support, but some of them are 501c3s. And it's like, well, somebody came to you and wanted you to fund this.
I'd love an example, just so I know what you're
referring
to.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of extremist parties and groups out there, that some of which are 501c3s to promote their media, or to do various things. They're not for profit. They're just simply trying to get their message out about, maybe it's supremacy, whatever it may be. But there are 501c3s out there I know of. I think I do know of. I'd have to look at research, but I believe there are that would be pushing, through media. Through we want you to fund $25,000 so we can expand our distribution list to promote our belief system, which is not a belief system that many people would think is appropriate.
So I haven't encountered anything like that.
But you could. What I'm saying is, you could. There could be a charitable organization that would be potentially fundable, that you may say, I don't want to promote what these guys or gals are promoting.
It's true. I think that there's a chance that might happen or could happen, at which point we would have to evaluate those circumstances. And certainly if it was anything against our values, or the core view of not causing harm, or even more reducing suffering, which is really the stated mission at the moment, then we would not be passing through money to that end, to promote that. The 501c3 code makes it pretty clear that it has to have public benefit. So if media companies have somehow infringed upon that and been able to secure 501c3s to promote something, to your point of like white supremacy, I haven't seen that example, and I've never had a donor ask us to fund that, so it hasn't crossed my radar. But we certainly would stand in opposition of anything that would promote hatred of any kind.
And I could be wrong, by the way. I just know that some of these do have .orgs in their websites.
Yeah, which means very little.
So maybe I'm wrong on that. It may not be a 501c3.
Well, it's pretty safe that in terms of the IRS code, that the 501c3, and there is a lot of scrutiny on that, is how community foundations in general promote their work through qualified charities, which is determined by the government, the federal government, as well as its own nonprofit incorporation status at the state level. We have not taken a step at the North Valley Community Foundation of promoting our own agenda on this planet beyond what's charitable. We have not said that we value this over this. What I wanted to implement first was a business that would inspire people to do the things they wanted to do in the world that were good for the world. I did not want us to say what that was. I don't want to sell you on helping kittens if your heart is for seniors.
Right.
And so it's very important to us. It is democratized philanthropy, I think, at its best. And sometimes we're going to do things that people question and don't agree with. And I am very comfortable with that. We live in a diverse society. In fact, that is one of the strengths of this country and of California and of the North State. And so certainly we're going to be doing things that not everybody agrees with. But you know, if somebody wants to walk in and promote what they care about this way and it's charitable, and somebody wants to come in and promote something this way and it's also charitable, then we will stand beside both of them. You know, I don't think we have a right to say what one thing or another. Certainly not with our resources. So.
Well, thank you for that. As I mentioned at the beginning of the interview before, I learned something on all these interviews, so thank you for setting me straight about that.